It feels like the energy at Old Trafford is back to its best.
It's a special place, isn't it? Things happen there that don't happen necessarily anywhere else.
Michael Carrick's Manchester United are looking really dangerous.
Here's Mbeumo, clipped it again! Oh, and in it goes!
And that's not hype. It's the eye test finally matching the numbers. Because this is the same squad that not long ago looked disoriented. Players pinned into the wrong roles. Patterns that didn't connect. A team that could run, but couldn't repeat anything. Now, watch them for 5 minutes and you see something else entirely.
How have things changed so quickly under Michael Carrick?
I think Michael came in with the right ideas.
A side becoming a problem. United are creating chances at a volume that top teams respect. And it's happening with clear pillars. Bruno back where he hurts teams most. Cunha adding bite between the lines. Ahmad giving width with purpose, Mainoo bringing control in tight spaces, Casemiro protected instead of exposed, Bryan Mbeumo, direct, ruthless, and built for the chaos of high-stakes matches. And suddenly the whole thing looks coached, not improvised. Here's the twist. This isn't Carrick reinventing football. It's Carrick removing the confusion, and that's exactly what Amorim feared United would become if they ever found clarity. This is the simple tactical switch that changed everything, and why it could be the start of a United team nobody wants to play in Europe. Manchester United were never built to be a museum club, a giant living off old clips and past glories. This is a team that used to set the tone of matches, midfields that dictated the rhythm, fullbacks and wingers that understood timing, strikers who didn't just finish moves, they completed them. When United were right, football looked simple because every role complemented the next, and that's why the fall hit harder than most, because the version Rúben Amorim inherited wasn't just underperforming, it was drifting. A team with names, budgets, and expectation, but no consistent identity. And here's the fair part. Amorim isn't a bad coach. His ideas are modern, his principles are clear, and his best teams have always been built on structure and courage. But Old Trafford doesn't forgive theory without results. By the end of that first season, the optics were brutal. 15th place and 42 points. A league campaign that landed among the club's lowest modern finishes, with a points total that told you the same story every weekend. Too many collapses, too few solutions. And the one thing that could have numbed the pain, a trophy, slipped away too. United reached the Europa League final, but lost 1-0 to Tottenham. A gut punch that didn't just cost silverware, it cut off the escape route into Europe. No top four, no trophy. And for the first time in years, the following season came with a new kind of silence. No European football. Amorim promised the good days were coming, but when the new season started, the same disease returned. Flashes of brilliance, drowned out by inconsistency. This is where the story gets surgical. Amorim's system, the 3-4-2-1 or 3-4-3 family, wasn't just a shape, it was a worldview, and he made it clear he didn't want to bend it. After a heavy defeat to City, he essentially said if people lose faith in the philosophy, then the club should change the man.
I'm not going to change. When I want to change my philosophy, I will change. If not, you have to change the man.
That stubbornness created a very specific set of problems. Rigidity. The structure didn't flex with opponents or game state. Unnatural roles. Too many players were forced to play football they weren't built for. Bruno deeper. Your best final third decision maker spending long stretches away from the zone where he kills teams. Dorgu as wingback. A workload-heavy role that can blur attacking instincts. Mainoo marginalized. When a system can't fit a top midfield talent, it's the system that has to answer questions, not the player. Suffering as ideology. The idea that United had to endure pain now to earn control later, even when the league table was screaming that the pain was becoming permanent. And that leads us to the line that defines the entire story. Amorim believed United had to suffer. Carrick believed they could win now. When Michael Carrick stepped in, the first change wasn't emotional, it was architectural. He restored numbers and clarity in the zones where United had been bleeding. Midfield numbers restored, fewer empty spaces between defense and attack. A more natural 4-2-3-1 or 4-3-3 hybrid that protects central areas and gives the team reference points. Wingers tracking back with defined responsibilities, not vague work rate. Fullbacks stepping inside at the right moments, adding support instead of leaving midfielders isolated. Clear zones, clear responsibilities, players stopped guessing and started repeating patterns. That's the real shift. Not vibes, not nostalgia. A team that used to look like 11 individuals trying to survive a system started looking like a unit that understands exactly what the next action is supposed to be. And once that happens at Manchester United, once the chaos turns into repeatable structure, you get the one thing Amorim feared most. A United side that doesn't need to grow into games, through suffering. A United side that can hurt you immediately. Carrick didn't fix Manchester United by inventing new players. He fixed them by stopping the miscast. And once you remove that friction, the same squad starts to look like a different animal. Start with Bruno Fernandes. Under Carrick, he's not being dragged into the engine room to do someone else's running. He's back where he's always been most lethal, as a pure number 10, roaming between the lines, facing goal, and deciding sequences with one touch instead of 100 meters of recovery sprints. And when Bruno has runners around him, it changes what United can be in big games, because now there's a forward built for those moments. Bryan Mbeumo. He isn't just scoring, he's scoring the kind of goals that flip elite matches. The ruthless punishment of one mistake, the cold execution in transition, the composure when the stadium tightens. Against Arsenal, he pounced on Zubamendi's error, and it wasn't just another strike. It was his 50th Premier League goal, and match reports noted he'd made a habit of doing it against the biggest opponents this season too. Now slide left, because the real revelation in Carrick's early run was Patrick Dorgu before the injury. What made Dorgu valuable wasn't just the headline goal at the Emirates. It was the discipline that made United's left side stable, tracking, timing, and then choosing the moment to be decisive. Tactical analysis described Carrick's shape with Ahmad holding width on one side, while Dorgu could make inside runs from the left, with Bruno roaming behind them. It's a clear, repeatable pattern, not chaos. And when Dorgu went down, the club confirmed he'd be out a number of weeks. A real blow, because he'd become a structural piece, not a cameo player. In the middle of all of it is the player every modern United midfield argument circles back to, Kobbie Mainoo. Carrick hasn't asked him to be a superhero. He's asked him to be a controller, receive under pressure, connect phases, slow the game when needed, speed it up when it's there. That's why the midfield suddenly looks less stretched. Mainoo can keep United in possession long enough for Bruno to arrive in the right zones, and from Mbeumo to stay high enough to hurt teams. And that brings us to Amad Diallo, because Carrick's biggest gift to him has been simplicity. No more defender-winger hybrid, living in survival mode. Under Carrick's clearer spacing, Amad can hold width, isolate fullbacks, and make the final pass. Exactly the function highlighted in the Arsenal win, where his width enabled Dalot's inside movement and Bruno's roaming without the team collapsing. Then there's Casemiro, who might be the clearest symbol of Carrick's whole approach. Carrick hasn't asked him to chase every transition like he's 25. He simplified the job, protect key spaces, win duels, manage the tempo of danger, and post-match reports noted players speaking about more responsibility and freedom under Carrick after the Tottenham win. That's what structure does. It makes a veteran's strengths matter again, instead of exposing his weaknesses. The squad was never broken. The usage was. Carrick didn't add magic. He removed confusion. A big part of the shift isn't tactical, it's environmental. With Carrick, there's been less noise. No public theater, no tactical cosplay, no weekly soundbite that becomes the story. Even in the reporting around this run, the recurring theme is how much calmer and clearer the group looks. Players talking about morale, freedom, and a coach who doesn't need to be the main character. Now the honest balance, this is still incomplete proof. Big game wins are the friendliest stage for a team that's structured to defend and strike. The real exam is different. Low blocks, possession-dominant matches, games where United must create without transition fuel. If Carrick's United can learn to control those games, not just react to them, then this isn't a caretaker glow. It's the start of something sustainable. There's a reason this version of Manchester United feels recognizable, and it has nothing to do with copying tactics from the past. Under Michael Carrick, United are starting to resemble something deeper. The Sir Alex Ferguson-era mentality. The one built around commitment, clarity, and players willing to suffer for each other, not for an idea. Think about Ferguson's great sides. Yes, they had stars. Cristiano Ronaldo, Wayne Rooney, Paul Scholes, Rio Ferdinand, Nemanja Vidic, Nani. But what truly defined them was something else. Role clarity and collective fight. Those teams didn't always dominate possession. They didn't always look pretty, but they knew who they were. Compact without the ball, ruthless when the moment came, and mentally unbreakable when games turned ugly. That's the echo you're seeing now. This current squad may not have the global superstardom of that era, but the profiles fit the same emotional blueprint. Bruno leads and demands. Mbeumo attacks space without fear. Amad and Mainoo work as hard as they create. Casemiro protects, organizes, and sacrifices. The group runs, tracks, and competes like the badge means something again. And that's the key point. Carrick isn't trying to recreate Ferguson tactically. He's recreating the conditions that allowed great players to thrive. Clarity, trust, accountability, and belief. That's why this doesn't feel like a fluke. That's why it doesn't feel like nostalgia bait, and that's why it feels dangerous. Manchester United are not back. They are not finished. But for the first time in a long time, they look like a team ready to die for the badge instead of hiding behind a system. And once that happens at Old Trafford, history tells us one thing very clearly: this club never stays quiet for long.